Thank you for having me here, Juan. My talk is going to be about some of my hobby projects, restaurant analytics and the Dutch movie world. I have more hobby projects that I publish on LinkedIn. You can follow me on LinkedIn if you want. And the agenda is a small introduction, why I do hobby projects, then about restaurants and the Dutch movie world, Dutch film world. And maybe if there's time we can do an experiment. But these two hobby projects tell us something about text mining, association rules, and graph analysis. A few techniques in data science. I'm not per se a data visualization guy, I'm just a data scientist. And I sometimes make graphs. And my end result is never per se a graph, but I have some graphs, so maybe I'm a little bit of an outlier here in this meetup. Yeah, maybe this time we can do a small statistical experiment because my background is statistics, but I don't call myself a statistician. It's not sexy anymore, so I'm a data scientist now. I had to rebrand. Why do I do hobby projects? Well, they give me a nice way to explain machine learning techniques to a broader audience without going into too much details, because I use problems in daily life. Which restaurant to choose, what is the Dutch movie world, which product of IKEA should I buy, what is the price of my house, and much more. I can never disclose company data in public. I work as a freelancer for different companies, so I have to scrape my own data, and I can scrape Eames, Funda, and IKEA websites. And all these techniques are hobby projects, but they are techniques that are applied in real life at companies where I work for. I often say I make from my work my hobby. That often sounds sad, but I can call it my passion. I've learned to do. My data science tool set is R still. I grew up in R. Python, Data IQ, and H2O. Data IQ is a nice visualization tool as well. And H2O is a powerful machine learning library. But having said that about these tools, this picture I spread a lot. I'm from origin Chinese, and I have the advantage that Chinese people look a little bit younger than they are. But 20 years ago, I worked with SPSS and SAS. Back then, when you knew those products, you were a king of the hill. Nowadays, you can't make a living out of it. So I had to switch to R, and now I'm using more and more Python. And who knows what the next iteration is? Some people say it's Kotlin or Julia, I don't know. But we'll face it when it comes. And then I'll have the enjoyment to learn that new language, of course. A little bit about advanced restaurant analytics, if I may call it like that. What is the business pain? If you're doing data science, you should always have a certain business pain. Otherwise, you're just playing around and not solving real problems. So my pain here is, okay, if I look at restaurants, what are good restaurants and what are bad restaurants, and how are they characterized, right? And another pain might be, okay, I have eaten at a Chinese restaurant, and what restaurant should I visit next? Now, with a little bit of data science, I can answer these two questions. What did I do? I looked at restaurant reviews from Eats. I think the website is called different now, I scraped that website, and I got this kind of data set. So there is a reviewer, Marianne Groot. She went to Ei van Columbus, the restaurant name, and she wrote a review. And she has eaten French, and then she gave some scores for the restaurant. And then you can scrape this website. It took me over a week because Eames was blocking me continuously. I had to spin up a new machine and I started to script again. But eventually you get there. And you can use this data set. First to identify good and bad restaurants. First of all, you can apply a little bit of text mining. Not even deep learning approach, simple linear regression can already help you. So what did I do? I took a target because I said, okay, you're a good restaurant if people gave you a score of 8 and higher. And it's a bad restaurant if the score was 5 or below. Right? So that's the target, the green column. And then this review, that's a little bit tricky for a computer to analyze. So you need to apply some trick. And one of the tricks you can do is bag of words or term document matrix. For each review, you will split it out in many columns. Let's say the review 1 contains the word aardig 1 time. It contains 0 times eten, Italiaans 0 times, etc. There are many, many columns because all the unique words that are apparent in all those texts will be the number of columns, right? So there may be 50,000 columns. And then you have also, let's say, 200,000 reviews. This matrix is huge, but luckily it's quite sparse. There's many, many zeros. Now, and then you apply just a regression technique. The target is bad and good. You take all these columns as regression values, and then you form the regression. Except there's one big problem. There are more columns than rows. And if you know a little bit of statistics, and it's handy if you have a statistical background, that results in a problem. So a little bit of statistics. I always want to present one formula in a slide. There is a nice statistics. If you present a formula, you lose 10% of your crowd. I have 10 formulas in my slide. But anyway, this is a nice trick to still let the regression work. Just forget it, it's called lasso regression. And this is a little bit of Python code to run the regression. What you get in the end is, if you go back to this, you get for each column, so for each word, you get an estimate how good or how bad this word is. And that is what you can visualize in a simple word cloud. These are the good restaurants. How are the good restaurants characterized? Heerlijk, aanrader, super, voortreffelijk. Now that's an open door, as we call it in Dutch. But at least it makes sense. Your analysis is not really bad. How are bad restaurants characterized? Well, slecht, taai, koud, it's cold, so it's never a good qualification, of course. And the value of how bad it is the larger the word, bad, the worse it gets. So it's a quite simple visualization based on a data science technique. Now, I scraped this data set from Eames, so I have a nice data set which I can make more visualization. Let's create a few. So what is the most occurring restaurant name in the Netherlands? There are 20,000 restaurants, at least from the Eames website it was great.
McDonald's.
Not McDonald's, no. Kotarapja, Chinese restaurant. And it's typically Chinese. My father had a Chinese restaurant, he named it Hong Kong. There are some 20 restaurants called Hong Kong, and Chinese restaurant owners, they don't care about if the name is unique. They just like the name. At other restaurants, you also see that, but a little bit less. Dutch restaurants, the Herberg, 6 times. Rodos, 3 times. There's also nice statistics that you can download from the scrape from the Eames website. It's sustainability kitchen. If your restaurant is sustainable, you get a special mark from Eames. Now I created per kitchen how many restaurants have this sustainability mark. And it turns out biological restaurants, 67% of them have this sustainability level. Now that's quite high. The lowest are the Chinese restaurants. And this statistic has to be verified, of course, so I asked my father, is this true? And he was a little bit surprised because, Chinese restaurant not sustainable. Every food that I get back from my customer, I give it to the next customer. He's having a hard time to believe this. This data set was already scraped some time ago. Normal on a Saturday, you've got 700 reviews, but in the year when I scraped this, 2015, Valentine was on a Saturday, and Valentine had 1,200 reviews, so 1.7 times more restaurant reviews. But if you split it out by kitchen, you cannot read it. There's one type of restaurant that benefited the most from the Valentine, Chinese restaurants. It's nice to see. It's a crappy restaurant, but you go there at Valentine's. And this is also an interesting visualization. I have the reviews, and I also have the score. And I can see how long a review is. And this is the distribution of the review. There are some people who are literally writing 2,000 words for a review, and a lot of reviews consist of one word. But the thing is, if you have more to say, on average, your score is low. And that's a phenomenon I sometimes see often in reviews from, I work at Adidas, we have the same phenomenon. I work at Ziggo where I analyze some product reviews. The more you have to say, the worse it gets. So maybe if you have a feedback form on your website, you should maximize it to 10 words or something. Now for the other question. If you have eaten Chinese, which restaurant should you then visit? Well, you can apply a little technique from recommendation engines. It's the same as I visited this product at Amazon, people also visited this. It's exactly the same. And that's one of the most simple techniques to use for recommendation. It's called association rule mining, also market basket analysis. Which products occur often together in one basket? It's a very old technique, 30 years old, something like that, used in supermarket. If item A and B are bought together, then item C is bought, most likely. You can learn that from analyzing the transaction data. And then you can get these rules. And you don't only get the rules, but you get also some statistics to validate, to get more content from those rules. So a support. You can find rules like, let's say, chips results in milk, but maybe that rule did not occur very often, so that's not interesting. But chips will result to beer, maybe that occurs more often, so that's more interesting rule. Because if you let the algorithm run, you can find a lot of rules. And also, lift and confidence are two often used statistics to qualify a rule. The lift is something like, let's say, suppose you find a rule, chips and beer, and it has a lift of 8.3. What does that mean? It means that if you know that somebody has bought chips, it's 8.3 times more likely that he will also buy beer compared to somebody who did not buy chips. That gives you some kind of feeling how strong a rule is. Now, I applied this on the restaurant data because the restaurant data set on beans that you scrape is basically a transactional data set. This person, the genieter, he called himself the genieter, he went to France International, Italian, International, Italian, and then there are more. I've got some 200,000 records. It's like a supermarket data set, right? Where if somebody bought some, a little bit of barcode, please forgive me, but this was 2 years ago when I still used R. Now I'm forced to use Python because I'm a freelancer. But this is just one rule of code to run this algorithm, and then you get these rules. And how do they look? Well, Malaysis result in ties, some certain support and lift. Vietnamese, then Chinese, but also Tibetans and then Chinese. So the first rule, Malaysis to ties, with a lift of 7.8. If you visited Malaysis, you're 7.8 times more likely to go to ties. That's what it says. And if I go to a network, if you look at this data, it's not a nice visualization. It's not a visualization at all, right? But if you look at it, you see a graph appearing, right? These are the edges of the graph. And if I go to... This is the same data set, but then in a graph. And the red points are the type of restaurants. Sorry, the red points are Asiatics, and the blue ones are different restaurants. But you see here, the Asian restaurants are clustered. And you can see here, people really stick into a certain kitchen. can zoom in this restaurant. Okay. So it gives you a little bit more feeling of the people. Going back to the PowerPoint. Yeah. Now, these are very simple rules from one restaurant to another restaurant, and they don't have really a high lift. But you can let the algorithm find more specific rules. If you visit 2 restaurants, and then what's the next restaurant you're going to go to? So if you visited Koreaans and a vis restaurant, then you're going to Vietnamese, and that has a lift of 66. But the problem is the support, because not a lot of people have done this unique combination. So it's very specific. If people really visit Koreaans and vis, then I'm quite certain that you go to Vietnamese, according to this data set. You can do that. And with with restaurant, with this market basket analysis, you can even go one step further. I didn't do that because I did not have the data, but now I have rules like restaurant A and B, then you go to C. But if I know somebody is a male and somebody is in a certain age class, you can add that as if it were a restaurant. It's a virtual item, and then run the algorithm again, and you get really more personalized rules. Let's say you're a male, you're young, you visit restaurant A and B. Well, then I almost know you go to restaurant C. And this is a little bit of a playful hobby project, but these algorithms are just really used on Amazon or any website that can use these algorithms. Still have a little time to tell you about the Dutch movie world. Now, what is the use case here? Suppose you're an outsider of the movie world in the Netherlands, like I am, and you still want to get a feeling of the characters, the important people in the Dutch movie world. How would you solve this using a little bit of data science technique? Well, for here you have to know a little bit of graph, and I mean graphs like in nodes and edges. So a little bit of terminology. A node or a vertex is a point in a network, and an edge or a link is a relation between 2 nodes. It can be relational, right? And there are another few terminology in graphs, in networks. That's node centrality. How central is a node? You see here that node number 6 is more central than node number 1, for example. There are certain statistics that you can calculate if you have a graph. And also community. If you look at this example graph, you see that there are certain communities, right? And in this simple Mickey Mouse graph, you can see it immediately, but if you have a huge graph, then it's hard to see. But there are certain algorithms that can calculate node centrality and community section. And then you look at something like this. So what did I do with the Dutch movie? I downloaded IMDb data. You don't even need to scrape it. You can just download the whole set with all the movies, all the actors that have played in all the movies. I can filter on the Netherlands, Dutch movies only, last 25 years. Per movie, I know the cast and the crew. And I specify in my setting a node as a person, an actor. And how do I define a link between a person and another person if they played in the same movie? Then they are linked together. It's a very simple setup. You can use my script on GitHub to do the analysis. So the nodes are Chantal Jansen, Hans de Wolf, and then I think you have some 1,200 more Dutch actors. And then the edges like, let's say, Chantal Jansen and Stef Tijding, they played in one movie. I call that a link, right? And then if you have those 2 data sets in R, it's literally one code, Vis network, node edges. And you get this. It's one of the simplest graphs that you can make with a one-liner. And this is also interactive. You can go with pull on certain things. The colors are just aesthetics. They don't have any meaning here. And then centrality. You can let the algorithm calculate centrality, and then the most central person in the Dutch movie world is Paul Ruven. Anybody knows Paul Ruven? No? Apparently he's a Dutch scriptwriter. He writes a lot of Dutch movies, so he's very central. And also because Paul Ruven is somewhere here in the middle, but also these people here, they also have some centrality. I call these people the losers. Dutch movie world. And I created a lot of these graphs, also in real companies, and they always have this kind of structures. You have the real heroes in the middle, connected to everyone, lots of friends, and then the losers. But these guys are also interesting. And then, and it's just 3 lines of code in order to create this graph. And then community detection. You can also let the algorithm create communities. And of course, the communities are easily recognized, but also centrally here, you see certain communities appearing. And that's nice to see. You can take one community, just take one out, and then have a word cloud of the people in that community. Get a feeling for it. Okay, just maybe as a last thing, just a little statistical experiment. Can you shake the hands with your neighbors? Like this. Okay, now that you did that, I want to, as a statistician, I want to share 2 statistics.
Think about terms.
First of all, 50.1%. It gets even worse. They had a brief survey. The worst percentage is in the Netherlands. And we are here in the Netherlands. But let me comfort you a little bit. There's another statistic. 84.6% of all statistics. Okay, thank you.